It is a real pleasure to join you here virtually at the annual meeting of the Retirement and Disability Research Consortium. I would like to start my brief remarks today by thanking Michael and the staff of the Center for Financial Security at the University of Wisconsin-Madison for their effort to plan and organize the annual meeting this year. They have developed an outstanding agenda that includes a wide range of research topics and a diverse group of presenters and moderators. I would also like to thank the National Bureau of Economic Research for hosting the virtual meeting for your website this year. We do hope that this is the last year that COVID prevents us from having an in-person event, but really appreciate your efforts in making sure the event can continue virtually. And I want to thank all of the center directors for making the RDRC such a successful research program. And this includes Alicia Manel at the Center for Retirement Research at Boston College, Nicole Maesta at the National Bureau of Economic Research, John Leitner at the University of Michigan, and Michael Collins at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. We greatly value our partnership with you and look forward to our continued collective success in fostering high quality research, communication, and training on matters related to retirement and disability policy. In my remarks today, I'd like to first highlight some of the recent RDRC research that has been especially informative and relevant to SSA's work. I will then discuss the important role I expect the RDRC to play in the coming years, particularly in supporting President Biden's executive order on equity. Over the past year, the RDRC has significantly expanded the knowledge base on Social Security, retirement, and disability issues through support to the 70 research projects. I'd like to highlight just a few of these studies today to demonstrate the vital role that the RDRC plays in studying topics of importance to the American public. The first study I would like to highlight is one by Wenliang Hu and Jeffrey Sanzenbacher on measuring racial and ethnic retirement wealth inequality through Boston College. The project uses data from the Health and Retirement Study to document the retirement resources of white, Black, and Hispanic households among late boomers, or the birth cohort now reaching retirement age. Their findings show that Black and Hispanic households in this cohort have less than half the retirement wealth of white households. Without Social Security, the wealth gap would be much greater. Black households would have only 14% of the wealth of white households, and Hispanic households would have only 20%. Social Security is the most equitable and most important form of retirement wealth across racial and ethnic groups. These findings tell us two things. First, we should continue to study differences in retirement savings and wealth by race and ethnicity and the reasons that these disparities exist. And second, as researchers and policymakers, we should always be aware of the fundamental role that Social Security plays in mitigating these disparities. The second example of policy relevant research that I would like to highlight is a study by Mary Hammond from the University of Wisconsin's Research Center on the demographics behind aging in place and the implications for supplemental security income eligibility and receipt. As the population has aged, long-term elder care has become a reality for many families. At the same time, residence in nursing homes has fallen, especially among low-income individuals. More individuals are living with their families or non-relatives as they age. These trends have implications for older individuals, their caretakers, and the SSI and Medicaid programs. Using decennial census and American Community Survey data from 1980 to 2018, the study documents the evolving living arrangements of low-income adults. It identifies two potential causes. First, the older population is more racially and ethnically diverse than it was in the past. And living in nursing homes is less common for individuals of color than for non-Hispanic white individuals. Second, policies such as home and community-based waiver programs may have encouraged some lower income individuals to age at home rather than in an institutional facility. The study shows that evolving trends in where individuals facing financial challenges or barriers choose to age have consequences for the finances of programs such as SSI and Medicaid, as well as economic and social implications for aging individuals and their families. The study provides insight into these trends and their potential causes. As you'll see over the next 2 days, RDRC researchers are exploring a number of challenging and interesting topics related to our programs. We hold this research in very high regard and strongly consider it when we devise, develop, and later test policy changes and innovations. I'd like to turn now to the role I see the RDRC playing over the coming years in supporting SSA's research priorities. Each year, SSA develops a list of priority research areas that are meant to guide the center's work in the subsequent year. This list pulls together recommendations from not only internal stakeholders at SSA, but also from leaders in retirement and disability policy at other federal agencies, in Congress, in academia, and elsewhere. For the next fiscal year that begins this coming October, we developed a list of 8 priority research areas, which are posted on our policy website at ssa.gov/policy/extramural. I would like to mention just a few of these areas today to give you a sense of our current policy priorities and how the RDRC can help us develop an evidence base to achieve our goals. The first priority research area I'd like to mention is that of disparities by race and ethnicity. On President Biden's first day in office, he signed an executive order on equity that acknowledges the entrenched racial and ethnic disparities in our laws and public policies that have often created barriers for individuals and communities in our country. The federal government has a role in advancing equity for all, including for people of color and others who have been historically underserved, marginalized, and adversely affected by persistent poverty and inequality. We see the RDRC as an important mechanism to support these efforts by expanding our understanding of these disparities so that we can make informed, equitable policy decisions. This can be done in multiple ways. First, through the data development activities, whether through survey data matched to SSA administrative records or other sources. We aim to provide as complete evidence as is possible for many race and ethnicity groups. Second, we aim to support research that investigates racial and ethnic disparities in areas relevant to SSA. This research could involve differences in labor market experiences, applying for disability programs, or in access to savings plans for retirement, among other topics. A second focal area that I would like to mention is improving outreach and communication. which focuses on research that examines and identifies areas of improvement in the efficacy of SSA's communications and outreach efforts. This topic is crucial to ensure that individuals receive the support to which they are entitled when they need it. This applies especially to individuals with disabilities who may qualify for the DI or SSI programs. Our goal is to understand how targeted outreach efforts might help all eligible individuals to apply and receive adequate support during the application process. In addition, we are interested in conducting research about how to increase the public's willingness to respond to SSA communications and do business with the agency online. We are particularly interested in how impersonation scams affect this willingness and how to overcome the communication barriers that these scams create. The final overarching topic that I would like to mention is that of COVID-19. The COVID-19 pandemic has affected Social Security programs and the populations we serve in ways that we are only beginning to understand. In the past year, we funded several RDRC projects that have expanded our knowledge. We seek additional research that explores both the short and long-term impacts of the pandemic on outcomes such as disability and mortality, the nature of work, and the economic security of our beneficiaries. These questions touch each of our focal research topics for 2022. These are just 3 of our priority research areas for next year, and I hope that you will all refer to our website to see the full list. In closing, I want to thank each of the researchers and moderators who will participate in this event. I also want to thank the staff that keep the RDRC running on a day-to-day basis, including staff at the 4 RDRC centers and our amazing program team at SSA, consisting of program lead John Jankowski, program officials Nancy Early, Brad Trenkamp, Matt Messel, John Murphy, and David Rogowski. Your efforts have helped make the RDRC such a success. Finally, I want to highlight the special session for tomorrow that Michael mentioned. I too am excited to welcome Valerie Wilson as this year's keynote speaker. And as Michael mentioned, Valerie will be speaking tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Time on the topic of race, ethnicity, and financial well-being. And with that, I will turn the meeting back over to you, Michael.